Good afternoon, good morning if you're on the West Coast. It's 1 o'clock Central. I told you I'd be here 1-ish, so here I am. And before I do these videos, I pray and meditate on what I think I should talk about. What's the message that God's asking me to share with the world? And it's always so crazy the way I get those messages and then that it's validated. So for today, I knew that I was supposed to talk about addiction. And as soon as I made that decision or got that answer, I was reminded of a really awesome article that I'm going to share a bit of it with you. I saw it just popped up again on my timeline this morning. So I knew that addiction is what I most need to talk about today, because addiction is everywhere. I don't know of anybody who hasn't had to deal with or be exposed to somebody in their family, hi Adele, that is dealing with an addiction. And there's still so much stigma around that word, as if you're an addict, then that means this or that, or that you're bad or you're less than. And it breaks my heart because there are so many other people. Well, my point today is that I believe that any and all of us are addicted to something. Because and so this is what I want you to really look at today. Hi, Adele, again. Is what patterns are you engaging in your life that you haven't been able to break? Think about it. What patterns continue to be repeated for you that have you feeling powerless, that have you out of balance? Because how is that not an addiction? If you continually engage in patterns that sabotage you, that deny you health and well-being and self-love, how is that not an addiction? And so really, what is addiction? Is it simply a substance? Is it an external force that has you feeling victimized and powerless? Or is it something else? And I believe it is something else. I don't know if any of you have heard of Dr. Gabor Mate, but if you haven't read or listened to any of his videos, watched him, he is awesome. In fact, I'm going to share some of his stuff here because he talks about addiction, and that addiction is the opposite of addiction is connection. Think about it. If you are an addict, or if you are out of balance in any way in your life, if you engage in behaviors that have you numbing yourself or distracting yourself, it's because you're lacking, you want some kind of connection. And that has been, more and more studies are being done and found that by reconnecting those who consider themselves addicts, becoming connected, learning how to be in relationship, that's their ticket that has them become powerful over what they believe they are addicted to. So if you look this up, I'll post this link afterwards. It's a really good article on Uplift, posted on Friday, July 17th. Do stronger human connections immunize us against emotional distress? So when you think about it, whether it's a heroin addict or an alcoholic or a food addict or a sex, at any kind of addiction that you can identify with at any level, think about why you reach for that substance, for that item. It's because there's something that you think you're lacking, that you're trying to get from something outside of you. There's a couple good quotes here that I want to share with you. Gabor Mate says, "Ask not why the addiction, but why the pain." So any behavior, any pattern that we engage in that have us avoid pain is an addiction. So to really consider what you might be addicted to. And what if you are addicted, because I think many of us are, including myself at times, are addicted to suffering. What if you're addicted to chaos? Because how is suffering, how is chaos a pattern in your life? If it is, you get to look at that and notice what you might be denying yourself from experiencing, which is connection, which is so ironic. We all have a longing to belong. And so what fulfills that longing is oftentimes an external substance, some kind of addictive behavior that is a temporary fix. So I was just last night speaking with one of my clients who was talking about his food addiction. And he had a really big issue with feeling like, well, I've done a lot of work around this and I've gotten tons of support and I'm still struggling with it. And I just feel like I should be self-reliant, that I should be able to handle this on my own. And so I talked to him about that and asked him, so what is that costing you to live in that belief that you've got to handle your addiction by yourself? It's not working. And what is so ironic about that is that, again, the opposite of addiction is connection. He seeks connection through food, comfort, right? Yet he realizes that he can't do it by continuing to be self-reliant. He needs to connect in new ways to bust the cycle, the pattern. So I really want you guys to notice and consider what it is, what ways you're seeking comfort through food, through perhaps it's exercise, through suffering, actually. Suffering is very comfortable, believe it or not. It's always there, and it denies you from being connected to God, to each of us. So I'd really love to hear. Adele says she's a Facebook addict. So consider that. That's a really good point, Adele. What is it that you're trying to replace through being on Facebook that you can give to yourself? Because that's what addiction is about. Addiction is about choosing to be powerful versus powerless. And I'm just going to be really frank here and say I really struggle when I hear addicts tell me that they're completely powerless. Well, it's true because they believe that. What if it's not true? What if your power is in your ability to learn new ways to connect? And that first place to learn to connect is within yourself. You've got to be able to learn to stop and spend some time in contemplation, to feeling the pain. What was that quote? I have to share it again because it's so right on. Ask not why the addiction, but why the pain. What has you continue to push away the pain and seek something to have you avoid it or deny it or distract yourself or numb yourself? And instead, being with yourself, connecting with you, which is going to connect you to God, which is going to allow you to feel that pain that's there to give you a message to reconnect. And in that reconnection lies your power. So my invitation is for you to really take a deep look today and notice, number one, any or all judgments you have on addicts, and consider what you're addicted to. Because unless your life is completely in balance, which I don't know anybody whose life is completely in balance, there's something that you get to notice, to see what you feel powerless over, what pattern, and declare it to yourself. I am addicted to. Adele just said she's addicted to Facebook. Name it, declare it. And then notice, once you're able to see what that pattern or behavior is, what is it I'm trying to seek, or how am I trying to comfort myself? What am I trying to give myself, which is connection on some level? And how can I do that in a healthy way? And then what's possible from that place, that's your purpose right there, is to identify it, to heal yourself through it, and to share it with the world. I've worked with hundreds of addicts. I love addicts because you know why? They are me, I am them. We all have some kind of addiction, different levels, different varieties. But today I want you to really notice your judgment around addiction and see how you can shift that and take ownership for what you can do in your life and how you can share it with others. All right? Tell me if this makes sense, and maybe I'm addicted to this work. I don't know. I just love it. All right, you guys, I'll see you soon. Bye.